For your guacamole dip, avocados just $1.99 each. Save $6 on cooking good chicken wingets, $19.99 for a 5-pound bag. Hot deal on DiGiorno 12-inch pizzas, only $7.99. Save $1.40 on Lay's potato chips, $2.99 for a 6.5-ounce bag. For party dipping, Tostitos salsa or Lay's dips, $3.69 for a 15.5-ounce jar. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more Super Bowl specials.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Measures proposed by government aimed at raising an additional $40 million in revenue reportedly not sitting well with some members of cabinet as well as the backbench, primarily because we're told those revenue-raising initiatives focus mainly on the average Bermudian. Here's Gary Moreno with more.
A well-placed source within the Progressive Labour Party claims not everyone is on board with the revenue-raising proposals as they relate to rental income. The pre-budget report released last week indicated any unit, residential or rental, with an annual rental value below $22,000 will be charged 5% of ARV. In that regard, if the annual rental of a property is $28,000, the owner of that property will be charged $1,400 per year on their rental income. It is understood some cabinet members and backbenchers are opposed to the idea and are concerned as to how this will impact the elderly and individuals who depend on a rental income for their survival. Our source contends seniors only recently were given a 2.25% increase in their monthly pensions. Now they stand to lose that and more if and when the proposed rental income tax is implemented. Another concern is that the new tax could result in increased rents as landlords seek to offset the new levy, a situation which, if it comes into being, will see civil servants, the majority of whom reportedly pay rents, see their 2% increase in pay whittled away as they are forced to fork out more for rent. The proposal is for a flat levy of 5% on all commercial rental units, as well as we previously mentioned, to individual rental units with an ARV over $22,000, as well as those with ARVs below $22,000, but have an aggregate ARV exceeding $90,000. Interestingly, our source told us as outlined in the Tax Reform Commission proposals, the Tax Reform Commission suggests the tax on rental income will earn an estimated $26.2 million in government income from residential properties and just under $15 million from commercial rentals for a grand total of $41 million. Now, based on the claims made by our source, we've sought comment from Curtis Dickinson, the Minister of Finance, but are yet to hear back from him. Meanwhile, our source argues that should this tax come into being, it will make it that much more difficult for landlords and tenants alike to put something away for that proverbial rainy day. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Gary. In other news, quote, "We are at the finish line." That's the view of the Bermuda Industrial Union President Chris Ferbert, who today, on the transition to a new bus schedule and roster for unionized DPT staff, Mr. Ferbert dismissed claims by the Deputy Opposition Leader Leah Scott's suggestion that his membership have purposely delayed the introduction of a new bus timetable. More in this report.
The reformation of the island's public bus system has not gone without its challenges, but to suggest that the players involved with the restructuring of timetables and rosters are dragging their feet goes a step too far, so says BIU President.
She almost implies that the minister, the director, and myself is in some kind of cahoots over this new bus schedule.
Mr. Ferbert was referring to comments by Deputy Opposition Leader Leah Scott criticizing the ongoing bus cancellations despite the help of an overseas consultant to develop an agreed roster. A new timetable and roster was due to go into effect on January 7th. However, the ministry delayed the rollout for 2 weeks. During that time, bus operators said they were not in favor of the roster, though had no problem with the bus schedule itself.
We're at the finish line. We're right there where we need to be. So for her to imply that certain things is going on, nothing's going on.
Mr. Ferbert explains that the motion to object to proposed rosters was made in good faith.
The members had decided, they put a motion to the floor, that they was going to reject the rosters outright. So they weren't even going to work the new rosters. And it was only that I insisted to the members, the union bargains in good faith. We said we cannot at the 11th hour now tell the ministry, tell the department that as a result of, you had second thoughts now, we're now not going to work these new rosters. That's not the correct thing to do. They listened to the advice that I gave them, so they made a new motion that we go back and fix those 10 or 12 rosters. You do that, and we'll work the new rosters.
The overhaul involved condensing 104 rosters down to 80 and 60 to 75 schedules down to 50, which Mr. Ferbert explains is complicated.
Roster number 52 probably had 4 nights where the individual was knocking off at anywhere after 9:15, and his last piece of work he is finishing at 12:40 in the morning. That was clearly in violation of the arbitrated award of 2005. And we found a number of other rosters that had similar problems like roster number 52. My understanding from Brother Brent Harvey, who sits on the perusal committee, even though I thought it was 10, he said it was 2 extra rosters. So it was actually 12 rosters out of the 80 that had a problem that we had to fix.
With that, it's been agreed amongst the membership that they are expected to take a sacrifice to adjust to the changes with the new rosters, but only for the next 12 to 18 months.
The ministry will hopefully make an announcement in the next couple of days about the new rosters because they're still doing a bit of work on them. Exactly how much more work, I have no idea. I can tell you that we met yesterday, and the ministry or the department will make an announcement hopefully between now and Friday. They should be making some kind of announcement.
Today, the 750 AM 8XP bus is the only service listed as cancelled on the government's website. But it remains to be seen whether a new roster and timetable will ease the burden placed on the aging bus fleet. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, the Department of Public Transportation confirmed that both parties are nearing the end of negotiations on the bus rosters regarding night work. A government spokesperson said night work is not clearly defined in the collective bargaining agreement and as such has presented challenges for many years. And they look forward to finalizing these changes and providing a revised start date for the new bus schedule. The Department of Public Transportation and the Bermuda Industrial Union are close to resolving issues related to rostered night work after reconvening to review the draft roster amendments. Night work is not clearly defined in the collective bargaining agreement and as such has presented challenges for many years. After a productive meeting, it was agreed to jointly review the allocation of night work in the new 2019 rosters. The new 2019 winter bus schedule does not change. It is the roster's work shifts the bus operators do each day that are now being adjusted. The DPT and the BIU said they look forward to finalizing these changes and providing a revised start date for the new bus schedule. Meanwhile, Deputy Opposition Leader Leah Scott clarified her initial comments made to the press.
What I said was the silence was more deafening than the fanfare from him, the minister, and Roger Todd as to what's going on now, because the start date, I believe, was supposed to be the 7th of January, and then I think it was moved up to the 21st of January. Here we are now, the 29th of January. The public has not been made aware of what's going on until today when Mr. Ferbert gave a live press conference because of the comments that I made in my statement. So I'm glad that he's come out and he's let the public be aware of the things that are going on. They deserve to be made aware. You know, we use public transportation, and we should be aware of what's going on with the Department of Public Transportation. Now, I understand that there are some internal issues with the management team and, you know, other things, but he said, you know, the rosters were posted, but nobody looked at the rosters, and everybody kind of dropped the ball, and so now they want to get things organized so that they can get a roster going and get the workers, you know, back to look at the agreement maybe next Tuesday, and then once they have decided that if the workers decide that they're going to accept the roster, then there's a 21-day picking cycle where the senior bus drivers, I guess, get to choose, and then the less senior bus drivers kind of get what's left over. So, what are we looking at in terms of having a proper bus roster implemented? And if we have paid a consultant for the past however many years, and I'm not sure whether he continues to be a consultant, but the fact of the matter is we paid a consultant. So why now are we having to devise a further roster? What was that consultant paid for? The general public deserves to know that. Mr. and Mrs. Bermuda deserve to know that.
And we'll have more news after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
From the very beginning, it was always our singular focus to do whatever it takes, use every possible resource to fight cancer, and never lose sight of the patients we're fighting for. Our cancer treatment specialists share the same vision. Experts from all over the world working closely together to deliver truly personalized cancer care. And these are the specialists we're proud to call our own. Expert medicine works here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
You can count on us.
Value Pack Fresh Purdue chicken thighs or drumsticks only $1.99 per pound. Save $1.40 on Bermuda-grown cauliflower, $2.59 per pound. Save $1.36 on Schmidt Old Time Sliced Butter Bread, $4.59 for a 24-ounce loaf. General Mills Honey Nut Cheerios 10.8-ounce box, only $4.59. New Fresh Pet pet food, 20% off on all sizes and varieties. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Welcome back. Well, environmentalists are calling on the public to stop dumping household trash and appliances at the dumpsters located at public beaches and docks. Resident Jessica Reeder is one of the environmentalists concerned. She recently took to Facebook to post images of the disturbing trend, rubbish and household waste that would ordinarily be taken to the Tynes Bay Waste Facility being tossed anywhere that has a dumpster nearby. Tarai Trott picks up the story from here.
Bermuda Broadcasting called me this morning and they wanted to talk about the dumping.
Forget Tynes Bay in Devonshire. A new trend has emerged of residents apparently unwilling to take their household waste to the proper location and just dumping it anywhere near a public dumpster.
So this is people dumping at Spittle Pond Nature Reserve. It's gotten worse again. And the washing machine and the dryer.
This video was shot this week at the Ely's Harbor Dock in Sands by concerned resident and environmentalist Jessica Reeder, who is part of a group of ocean volunteers who regularly clean up waste washing ashore from elsewhere.
I'm an ocean addict, as are a lot of my friends, so I spend a lot of time cleaning up the beaches. And of course, most of the trash on our beaches is washed in from overseas. But, as I'm visiting different beaches, especially in the West End, I notice that there's a lot of trash piled at trash cans that hasn't come from the ocean. Ely's Harbor is one of my favorite spots. It's a really beautiful place to hang out, and I often go there to look for wildlife, and noticed that the dumpsters provided there were full, and even though they were full, people continued to dump their personal trash all around the dumpsters.
And why do you think people are dumping their trash like this?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons people are doing it. First of all, perhaps they have the misunderstanding that when they see trash cans at public facilities, maybe they think they have the right to put their trash there. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. And what they're doing is putting a lot of abuse on an already stressed trash collecting system.
A trash collection system that has seen its twice-weekly island-wide collection schedule reduced to just once a week due to a host of issues. Ms. Reeder and her group puts the blame for the dumping on a prevailing public mindset that people's personal waste is somehow someone else's problem. She disagrees.
Instead of complaining and people getting all worked up about it. A really intelligent thing to do would be to try and think of ways that they can reduce the amount of rubbish that we're producing.
However, Ms. Riederer also believes the reduced weekly island-wide trash schedule is no excuse for dumping your waste on public land.
You know, in some countries in the world, they only have trash pickup once a month. I know this happens in Europe and Germany, and it's typically very clean countries. So people can't say that because our trash is being collected once a week, that that's a reason.
Despite repeated cleanups by the group of volunteers of affected areas, people continue to dump their waste. The group says it is particularly frustrating when you consider they already have their work cut out for them by cleaning up foreign waste that washes ashore. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Tarai. That's terrible. It looks like we need some more cameras in place. Well, you would think we've had a lot of rain lately, but not enough to flood a restaurant kitchen. That shocking footage currently circulating on social media was, in fact, due to a burst pipe at the Fairmont Southampton Hotel. According to a spokesperson for the South Shore property, the Jasmine Cocktail Bar and Lounge kitchen area was flooded due to a burst water pipe overnight on Saturday, not at the Hamilton Princess and Beach Club as previously suspected. The spokesperson confirmed that the incident was handled immediately and food service was not disrupted at the Jasmine Lounge. They add, quote, "We look forward to welcoming all our local clientele." It was an incredibly soggy day in Bermuda. Perhaps many of you are just starting to dry out. You can go ahead and blame that on a stalled cold front, but mixed in with all that wet stuff was this. Marble-sized hailstones pelleting down without warning around 3:30 this afternoon. Listen to that hail just pinging off the table outside of Miles Market, bouncing up the sidewalk and collecting on Queen Street. The hail fell across much of the island, the biggest ones around ½ an inch. Meteorologist Gary Hall from the Bermuda Weather Service said small hail isn't that unusual in Bermuda, but this hail was quite unique.
Normally they're associated with cold outbreaks. Today was a warm weather type hail, which that is quite rare. And it's really attributed to longer living thunderstorms. It takes something really that long to form that type of hail. And with that frontal boundary just not budging all day over Bermuda, the recipe was just right, and we got that anywhere from 1/4 to about a ½ inch hail across much of the island as we saw.
Okay, so as we've already said, we've certainly had some good tank rain. That's the good news, but we can look forward to some drier conditions beginning tomorrow. Here are the details from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM is brought to us by the good folks at the BF&M Insurance Group. It's been a stormy day. We had some hail, some thunderstorms, quite a bit of rain. A little more than 2 inches in some parts of the region here and across parts of the island. You can see these big thunderstorms, these tall clouds that have moved right on through the area, and the radar estimates of rainfall have been pretty substantial. We will see some improvements come, but we're not totally out of the woods yet, as a thunderstorm advisory does continue as issued by our friends at the Bermuda Weather Service. We're at 66 degrees, humidity is high, winds not terribly strong, though they do pick up some when the thunderstorms roll through. Water temp has fluctuated a little bit, actually warming up a little bit to 67 for now. On the inside, we have 2-foot wave heights. On the outside, we are around 5 to 9 feet. And a thunderstorm advisory continues through this evening. A small craft warning also continues through this evening as well. And you can see that marked here on our marine forecast for our boating friends. Not a good evening to be out and about. Lightning, big waves, and occasional gusts of wind with the rain as well. And that wind and the rain is knocking the visibility down as well. So we're dealing with low tide at 9:47. The tide will come back up at 4:25 early Wednesday morning. Low tide at 11:14, and then another high tide at 4:39 Wednesday afternoon. So periods of rain and a thunderstorm or two through the overnight hours. It's going to be a pretty tumultuous time here until this front totally moves east, and that's not yet happening quite yet. Tomorrow there will be some nice improvements, though, with only a stray lingering shower as the front pushes away. We'll be back up to near 70 degrees, and you can see this evening and tonight we're still in that zone of rain, and slowly it begins to move to the east. And this moves away. And then the Arctic front, which is going to be approaching from the north and west, will move on in with a better chance for some cooler air in a few more days once the winds shift around a little bit. No tropical threats. Showers are out there into Jamaica and in Trinidad and Tobago. Nice time into Barbados, I should say, though. But here in Bermuda, we do have the wet weather still. Looking at the forecast, we have some exceptionally cold air across parts of the north central United States, southern Canada, and that is drifting east at this point. In places like the city of Chicago in the United States, it's the coldest it has been by some metrics in terms of some of the stats in 2 to 3 decades. Very, very cold air out there. Toronto, a high of 3 with some snow. New York, 31 with some snow. Boston, snow winding down. And it'll get colder into the New York City and Boston areas soon. Our own 5-day forecast for Bermuda. Leftover showers on Wednesday. Not bad, though. Not nearly as wet as Tuesday has been. So improvements are coming. Winds will die down, and we look okay. Chance for some rain that may return as early as Sunday, if not Sunday night into Monday. So we'll have to keep an eye on that forecast. We'll send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
The year-end clearance sale is now on at Bermuda Motors. Cargo ships bringing our 2019 models will be arriving soon. To make room, we're offering the lowest prices of the year on these models. Ford Figo, our hatchback with cutting-edge technology. Ford EcoSport, big on comfort, safety, and power. Toyota Avenza, the perfect balance of style and function. Toyota Prius C, our fuel-efficient 5-door hybrid. So hurry, prices are available until the end of the year or while our inventory lasts at Bermuda Motors.
At the Bermuda Festival, civil rights takes center stage in January. Singer-activist Nina Simone believed an artist's responsibility is to reflect the times. Set against the framework of one of her most blistering songs, the play Nina Simone, 4 Women, gives voice to 4 women who suffered from self-hatred due to the different hues of their skin. The production includes some of Nina Simone's most popular civil rights anthems. For tickets, visit ptix or bermudafestival.org. 44th Annual Bermuda Festival.
And you're watching Bermuda Tonight. The opposition leader Craig Canonier tonight speaking out on the issues surrounding Tawana Wedderburn, the former CEO of the Bermuda Health Council. Mr. Canonier argues there are too many unknowns with regard to Ms. Wedderburn's separation from the BHEC.
It appears now that there will be a court case, but all Bermudians must indeed be wondering what in the world is going on. And this is on top of revelations that our Minister of Health in the House of Assembly said that she had received from her technical officers information that said that the One Bermuda Alliance, when it was government, was targeting a particular company when it came to cost of scans, only to find out and to have it substantiated through petty requests that this was not the case at all. That technical office had not said that. Technical officers had actually said the complete opposite. Bermuda, I'm asking you to continue to read with interest, listen with interest. These revelations are rather telling, and yet again, we're still not hearing from the minister speaking to these issues and what's going on.
In other news, the ESTU, the union representing electrical workers at Belco, says its membership met with representatives of Ascendant Group yesterday before the company announced it would be putting itself up for sale. When we broke the story earlier in the month, a spokesperson for Ascendant Group responded to our information that they would be up for sale by saying, quote, "The company does not comment on rumor and speculation," end quote. Having learned of the sale of the company, which is the parent company of electricity provider Belco, the ESTU president, Donald Lattimore, states it does raise concerns about the future of Ascendant Group and its members. Mr. Lattimore notes that Belco management met with colleagues, both unionized and non-unionized, throughout Monday, and the announcement the company is up for sale will be added to the ESTU agenda to ensure that any questions from the membership are presented to the company's management. Coming up, Earl Basden with your sports report. Stay tuned.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking, along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
We are the voices.
You are with the captain.
It's Mr. Midday.
12 new major news.
The big station.
The morning show.
Your number one song.
The faces.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight.
This is exactly what you're talking about.
What an upset it was.
The storytellers.
They are actually using the pepper spray.
Police are aware of this theory.
The water is 3,500 meters deep.
The tax climbs up to 12.5%.
The window on our community.
We bring you the best in U.S. television entertainment.
And the greatest sporting events in the world.
A brilliant performance of Duffy.
We are the island's only Bermudian-owned broadcaster of both television and radio.
With the only TV channels that are available over the air in beautiful high definition, completely free.
We are always expanding.
We are always innovating.
And most important, we're always your station.
This is Bermuda Broadcasting.
Earl Basin has tonight's sports package.
The Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association and its member clubs will be hosting a week-long swimming camp with Roland Schumann, a South African Olympian, and Alia Atkinson, Jamaican Olympian and current world record holder. The camp will run from January 29th through to February 3rd, and athletes participating will get the exclusive opportunity to be coached by these world-ranked swimmers. Schumann earned multiple world records during his career, and Atkinson currently holds the world record in the 100 short course meter breaststroke. Accompanied by Mary Frances Gaglio, equestrian riders Courtney Brumby and Hannah Simmons competed in a show jumping competition hosted by the Ecuador Equestrian Federation. The invitational competition was operated under the FEI rules on borrowed horses. Riders were required to successfully compete in 2 qualifying competitions before advancing to the finals. In the qualifying competition, Simmons achieved a double clear, which resulted in her qualifying for the A finals of the 1.05 to 1.10 meter division. Simmons rode a superb round in the finals, but incurred an unfortunate 4 penalty fault points on the very last jump. Disappointedly, after the first qualifying round, Brumby was required to change to a substitute horse. With a beautiful executed clear round on the substituted horse, Brumby qualified for the B final in the 1.15 meter to 1.20 meter division, but did not place in the final. The second day of archery was the Eastern Youth Trophy Tournament, where 3 Bermuda archers from Gull Point participated. Jaden Roberts finished 10th, competing in the Cub Male Recurve Division with a score of 466 points after 60 arrows. During the Cadet Female Recurve Division, Ashley Weeks finished 18th with a score of 436 points after 60 arrows. Cameron Pickering finished 7th during the Junior Male Recurve Division with a score of 544 points after 60 arrows. Dylan Muldoon and his number 20 nationally ranked Bates Bend squash teammates defeated 27th ranked Hobart by a score of 7-2 in a match at Mount Holyoke. Sophomore Muldoon defeated Salik A1 3-0 at the number 9 position. Muldoon picked up the win 14-12, 11-5, 11-9. The victory saw Muldoon extend his win streak to 5 matches. The Bermuda Tennis Pro League has reached its halfway stage of the season, with the Devils Owls team of captain Gavin Manders, Neil Tolson, Denzel Hollis, and Tego Bean leading the league with 8 points. The Gumby Warriors are second with 6 points. Their team consists of captain David Thomas, Jansen Bascom, Michael Way, and Dean Mello. The Bermuda Longtails and the Bermuda Onions both have 2 points each. In Week 1 action, the Devils Owls edged the Gumby Warriors 2-1, while the Bermuda Longtails edged the Bermuda Onions 2-1. Week 2 saw the Gumby Warriors edge the Bermuda Onions 2-1, while the Devils Owls defeated the Bermuda Longtails 3-0. The Devils Owls would defeat the Bermuda Onions 3-0 in Week 3, while the Gumby Warriors defeated the Bermuda Longtails 3-0. In the latest round of Bermuda Bowl hockey action at the PCC hockey rink, it saw 11 goals scored in a doubleheader. Rimouski Oceanic defeated the Calgary Hitman 3-2 in the opener. All 5 of this game's goals came in the first period, as Rimouski Oceanic jumped out to a 3-0 lead before the Calgary Hitman fought back with 2 late strikes in the period. Rimouski Oceanic would get a goal off the stick of Jeffrey Looper to take a 1-0 lead. Matthew Benson would double the lead before Wayne Newhook made it 3-0. The Calgary Hitman would fight back with Ross Ruffinich finding the back of the net, and when Scott Shannon scored, they were within 1, but neither team would score for the remainder of the game. The Worcester Rails defeated the Red Deer Rebels 5-1 in the nightcap. Jan Sutton, Jonah James, and their Thomas College men's and women's track and field teammates competed at the Bowden Invitational, with both teams finishing second out of 4 teams. James would finish third, competing in the women's 200-meter dash, stopping the clock in a time of 31:04. With a time of 1:09:31, James would finish third in the women's 400-meter dash. With a top leap of 1.70 meters, or 5 feet 7 inches, Sutton would win the men's high jump. Sutton would finish third, competing in the men's long jump with a leap of 5.72 meters, or 18 feet 9.25 inches. On a cold, wet January evening, Bridley Toms and his Bedwars rugby teammates overpowered the valiant students of Cardiff Met to book their place in round 3 of the National Rugby Cup as they defeated Cardiff Met 31-13. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. Well, that's our newscast on this rainy Tuesday evening. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Good night.